cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in to. It's time again to cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in to. It's the number one podcast. The topics of discussion when we broadcast. So all them artificial man jokes, we do it natural from the concrete to a public standpoint. Real, wherever you're from, life is coexistence, but to know the real, you just gotta listen. Wherever you're from, life is coexistence.
What's up, good people, and welcome to the 52 Scott Podcast. I'm your host, Mickey96, along with Freddie G, K Money, and Slash. Collectively, we are the Mindless Men. I want everybody that's on YouTube to go out and subscribe and click the like button. If you're on Twitter, follow us at 52 Scott Podcast, and on IG and Facebook at the 52 Scott Podcast. And we are back, good people, for another edition of Think Thursday. Today, fellas, we're going to talk about radioactive items that you may encounter or come across daily, on a daily basis. Now, this list is from thoughts.com. And it was interesting because back in 2012, I had moved to Dallas, and I only had been in Dallas for about a year. I moved there for my job, and when I got there, I didn't know anyone from Dallas, but it seemed like everybody was getting cancer. And I'm like, I don't even know anyone out here, but the people that I was working for, the places I was going, I was like, it was just crazy. This is 2012. Now, fast forward to now. All right. And after COVID, it seems like a lot of people have been getting diagnosed with cancer. Mm-hmm. And my thoughts, naturally, Think Thursday, I'm going to say, well, what's going on? I mean, some people that I know, they don't even smoke, period. Right. But they're getting all kind of cancer. Right. So I just thought, well, maybe there's something that we're around, some type of devices or something that we just come in contact with that we just don't know. Mm-hmm. That could be the problem. I seen it while I was reviewing this story. There was an interesting story about a family. I think it was a family of 5. It was a child, and then a mother, daughter, aunt, and uncle. So the little boy found just a little, about big as a pin top, but it was silver, and it was a nice little piece, and he thought it was a little heavy. He thought he'd bring it home and play with it, a little toy. As kids we pick up anything. You just you didn't know. So the mother saw it and also thought it was kind of cute, so she washed it off and put it in the kitchen cabinet. So months went by, the little boy got sick first, and just getting sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker. So he ends up passing. Then the mother gets sick. It happens. She got sick. However, it wasn't until the father and everybody else in the house started getting sick. If I'm not mistaken, I think she was the second to the last to pass, and then the uncle. But the mother found out, by the time she found out, one day she was doing dishes and seen the little object up in there, and they figured out it was cobalt. So they had...
It was who?
Cobalt. So they had it in the house the whole time. And it had nuclear radiation and radioactive stuff in there. So the whole family ended up passing. It wasn't until they found out what was in the house, the uncle was already on his way, to being deceased. Mm-hmm. So... yeah, so I said that to say you got to watch these kids too, because you watch they bring in the house. Some of us, our kids are grown, but listeners, if you out there, if you got kids, watch what they bring into the house, because it's crazy stuff that we see. K Money, you about to say something?
No, I was just gonna ask where the little boy found this. That he just found
outside in the grass in his yard. It was in the yard. He dug it. It was a little piece in the ground. He dug it up and wiped it off, took it home. Yeah, he found it outside in the yard playing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so, man. Okay, what's going to be crazy is the stuff that we encounter daily. I'm surprised. At least 7 or 8 of these items, except for this first one I'm about to go over. And Freddie G, don't laugh, because the first ones are Brazil nuts or radioactive. Don't go there. You're exposed to radioactivity every day, often from foods you eat, and this is one of them, the Brazil nuts. In almost all cases, you get more exposure from radiation if you take like a ride on a plane or dental X-rays. X-rays we take. So, yeah, nuts. This is crazy. Brazil nuts are probably the most radioactive food you can eat. They provide, 5,600 PCI kg. PCI is picocuries per kilogram. Now, I don't know what picocuries is, or maybe someone do. And that's of a potassium 40 and a whopping 1,000 to 7,000 PCI kg of radium 226. Now these are nuts.
Are they good?
Don't know. Don't care.
Where do those and those are only Brazilian, or is that what he said?
Yeah, just the Brazilian nuts.
Okay.
They are 1,000 times more radioactive than other foods.
So don't get nuts from Brazil.
Let's go to number 2.
No, for real.
Yeah, okay.
So
Okay.
prior to you
Yeah.
doing your research on this story, did you know that Brazilian nuts?
I did not.
Had radiation in them.
Did you? So you didn't know Brazilian nuts had radiation in them? Prior to you doing your research?
I did not know.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, listen, we gonna go on to number 2. Now, this would have hurt your heart. But, Freddie G, not you, because you stopped drinking a long time ago. But, K-Money, you're not gonna like this.
What's up?
Beer is radioactive.
Huh?
Beer is
I
radioactive.
drink beer.
Beer is not, it's,
Radioactive, like what? Does it have radiation in it when we drink it, or is it just a material that can?
they saying not one single beer. But, however, if you, but anything in great quantity is bad for you.
True. So how many
Right.
beers they say?
So how many beers?
They don't give a number. They just give that PCI
Is
thing.
it a
That's
certain-
300, about 390 PCI kg of isotope potassium.
Is it a certain type of beer?
No, not at all. I'm pretty sure beers are pretty much made in the same, probably different ingredients, but the manufacturing of it is probably the same. So whatever that main ingredient, and that's what I was looking for here. It doesn't say which main ingredient that everyone uses that makes it.
It's barley, right?
Yeah, it's just barley, but barley is weed. But I don't know. It depends on how you grow it. No, you know how people like the fast chickens. You getting them chickens that look like a ostrich leg. You go to these restaurants.
Oh yeah.
So, kitty litter. None of us got cats.
So that's radioactive.
That
or-
is cat litter is sufficiently radioactive. That can set off radiation alerts at international border checkpoints. So yes, it is. It is. It's cat litter. So that's crazy. None of us got cats, so thank goodness we dog lovers over here. But for you people that got cat, you might want to look into look into those ingredients before you buy them. That's pretty interesting. Now, I love bananas, right? When I cut them in pieces.
Doesn't surprise
I cut
me.
them in pieces, though. I don't eat it from the. I just cut them in pieces.
Do you peel the skin back?
Nah, I'm eating uncircumcised banana. Okay, so banana. What the hell? Okay, so bananas are naturally high in potassium. So I guess I'm noticing all three of these were pretty much high in potassium, right? I'm noticing the word potassium in each. I'm looking here, isotopes or uranium isotopes for kitty litter. But if I go back and I look at our first one, the Brazilian nuts, potassium is here too. So I'm wondering if it, even in the beer, potassium, yep, potassium in the beer, and now in the bananas. Yeah, I'm thinking it's the potassium. I'm just putting two together. I'm allegedly thinking, just doing my. It's got to be the potassium, because bananas are naturally high in potassium. Potassium is a mix of isotopes. So that word isotopes, I know they be using that when it comes to radiation. Isotopes, radiation, isotopes, it's always connected. So my guess is potassium. So potassium is a mix of isotopes, including the radioactive isotope potassium-40, which was also in the mixed nuts. They had the potassium-40. Yep. I'm sorry, beer. Beer had the potassium-40. So yeah, it's got to be that. Bananas, yeah, so they're slightly radioactive. The average banana emits around 14 decays per second and contains about 450 milligrams of potassium. So yes, it's got to be the potassium.
So
I like
now that you know that, will you stop eating bananas?
I will not, because I eat oatmeal, and I like to chop them up, and I eat oatmeal daily. So now I don't eat bananas in my oatmeal every time, but I do it a lot. And then I need it, like I run. I also run, and if I go alone, I don't eat bananas every day. But when I start catching Charlie horses real bad, I gotta eat a banana or maybe two. Oh no, I don't. Never mind. This goes somewhere else. I don't have to.
Yeah, they good for cramps.
Yeah. I know, man.
You have cramps? You experience cramps a lot?
In my thigh, man. In my thigh. I promise it's in my thigh, man.
Where your cramps be in your stomach?
Man, all right, what was it? Where we at? Now, this is something that's in our house, and I kind of know this. I kind of didn't know this, actually. A little bit, but I didn't know. I have two detectors in here. One for, the regular smoke detector, then you have the carbon monoxide. And y'all about to be astonished here, but about 80% of all standard smoke detectors contain a small amount of radioactive isotopes. Americium-241. That's a long word. Usually when it's a long word, it ain't good. I'm serious. If you think about it, they short the word HIV, but you spell it out.
Anything you can't understand is not good.
Yeah, it's already, and then it's got a high number. Like the other ones was 40. This American is 242, 240.
Yeah, extremely high.
Yeah, so man, I'm finna sue my apartment complex. No, I'm just playing.
It's crazy.
Yeah. This guy gave me a thing on my app. There's an app on my phone that you can detect radiation in the air. And outside it's really high, but inside my house it's not as high. But then sometimes it would get high. It would get high here and there. But whatever. Another one. This is. Whatever, yeah. I mean, because you just never know, man. All this Wi-Fi we got, 5G, 4G, 5G, 12G, SYNG, IFE.
So back up real quick. You say you have an app on your phone?
Yeah, it's an app on my phone, and it
can read the current radiation outside.
Yes, it's called, what this name is? App. I'm gonna pull it up right now, so y'all can see the name of it. It's free advertisement, but I don't want to call myself a liar. I have so many apps on my phone that I cannot even find it right now.
You can mention it later.
Yeah, I'll mention it later. I'll come back to it. But yeah, it reads, detects the radio. You run a certain little diagnostic, sort of like the diagnostic you did with the Freddie G. How you showed us with the Wi-Fi on if your Wi-Fi is good. You know that test you showed us. How you could test if your Wi-Fi is good. Yeah, same. It's the same concept pretty much. All right. The next item here is fluorescent lights. That's pretty obvious. Fluorescent lights, those lamp starters. When we trying to, well, not me, but people that
grow
certain things.
You mean for jaundice, right? When the babies are born, put them on the lamp.
Yeah, that stuff like that. Yeah, they have fluorescent lights. So Now, this one, those lights contain, see, is another long word. And yeah, it contains a small cylindrical glass bulb that contains less than 15 nanocuries. And okay, so then when they talk about krypton, that kryptonite, ain't that something that Superman had dealt with that he couldn't do? Yeah, so now they got kryptons 85. Well, I don't know what that is, but that's already sounding bad.
Yeah.
Because Superman couldn't take it.
Nah.
Then, that's all I'm saying. All right. Oh, this is funny. Gemstones. Some of the gemstones.
What gemstones?
Zircon.
Cubic
Looks like
zirconias.
a diamond. Yeah.
Those cubic zirconias.
Zircon. Such
Yeah,
as zircon. Mhm.
So they be wearing that shit and thinking
Thinking you walking around with radioactive ear balls.
ears radioactive like a son.
Yeah,
Man.
they blinging, ain't they?
Ooh boy.
Yeah, you catching cancer too. Yeah,
That's cold.
yeah. So we gonna skip past it. So hey, quit wearing that old fake the zirconia stuff. So we gonna get out of that. Now this I have heard about. I actually seen a story about this radioactive ceramics. That's little stuff. Watch when you go overseas and you get these. I've seen this on they do the drug thing, but they also the airports, and they coming in and but that not only do drugs, but they do like foods. You can't bring foods back to the U.S. or I think even take it out. You can't bring nothing back from overseas. And they had one episode where they had ceramics and it had radioactive material in there, and the customer was even disappointed.
It's crazy.
And he was like, man, I thought it was something I could just put up on my. He said, yeah, you can put it up, but you probably been out of there in the next 6 months because, you know,
It's got all this radioactive.
Yeah. So that was pretty interesting. Yeah. So watch when you guys travel, watch what you buy overseas, because there's a lot of these stuff that they do build there because it's cheap material, and they'll build and they'll make something. It looks nice, and the whole time you die.
It's radioactive.
It's radioactive. Yeah. So now this one here, y'all. This one's pretty interesting because we've been using these because this is the old school cheese grater. Y'all remember that when you take the little handle at the top and you take the cheese and you scrape down like that? They radioactive. They radioactive.
Isn't that just like aluminum or some shit?
Yeah, they're radioactive. I did not know that.
I didn't either.
You're talking about
I still use
the
that
grade,
shit.
how to you
The
grade
gray
the
one?
cheese. I'm talking about you grade it.
Mm-hmm.
The
That hand to silver one that we used to use back. For example, back in 2008, a gamma ray emitting from a cheese grater was found.
Wow.
So, yeah.
The
so
gamma ray, Incredible Hulk.
they say apparently scrap cobalt. Remember I told you earlier in the show, cobalt 60.
Wow.
And that's, remember I told you how them kids, how the whole family died from cobalt. I can't remember the toxicity level of that cobalt for that particular piece, but I think anything with cobalt in it, you out of there.
Yeah, well, I mean, if it killed the people over the years just by sitting in the house, you know, nobody was touching it or nothing, right?
Right.
So it was just in there. So yeah, that's pretty strong. Even if you start making stuff out of it, you gotta expect that that's gonna be an issue.
This one, first of all, that's what really bothered me. What would give you the possession to make something deadly,
Right.
and then give it to a household?
Right. And put it as a household item. And sell it as a household item.
You think that's government officiated?
I don't know, man.
Sound like it's our job. Because nobody in their right mind will make something and say, I'm finna take this fentanyl.
Well, you said
Well,
that they were
take that
traveling,
back. Take
coming
that back.
from abroad, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, that wasn't. I don't think our government would be involved.
Well,
in
cheese graters are not abroad.
Well, you're right about that.
Cheese graters are not abroad. So that's what I'm saying.
Well, we can't say all cheese graters are made in America either.
Yeah, you got a point. Facts. Okay, sorry, America. Sorry. And yeah, that cheese grater threw me out there. And this last one, get away from my phone. You trying to see? This last one, everybody in here has been exposed. You finna be mad. Get ready. You, your kids, and everybody to get in your car with you. No, sir. That dashboard in your that with the mileage on there and all that, that whole dashboard is radioactive.
What is it, mercury?
I ride a bicycle.
What you say?
But not the digital. Is it the digital dash or what?
It's the old school dashes.
Oh, well, see.
Yeah.
That was years ago.
That was years ago. It's the old school dashes.
Yeah.
So that was they stopped. They don't say exactly when they stopped, but they did stop. But it has tritium. It's tritium. And it's a radioactive hydrogen isotope that they used it. Actually, you finna be mad again. It's used with watch faces, key ring fobs, and self-powered lighting. So it's not. There's other products that's made with a lot of radioactive items, and man, I just found this stuff really interesting, and it kind of makes me think, man, is this the reason why? Because we're constantly, no matter where we go, home, school, in your car, especially after reading this, you're always around something that's radioactive.
Yeah, well, one thing that you didn't mention, I think, is one of the main things out here that's giving off those bad rays is the 5G towers that are known to be radioactive as well, you know. So
exactly.
That had a lot to do with a lot of sickness here recently, you know, as they mentioned COVID and like what you're talking about, you know. So yeah, everywhere we go, we are affected by these radioactive waves out here, and there is no law against it is what the issue is, I think. So when you say, is this something that was government passed, obviously it was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's here and nobody's got no law against it. The government ain't saying you can't do it. So of course,
lawsuits being filed.
you know what I mean? So yeah, that's government passed. They okayed for it to happen. So it's a reason for everything.
Yeah.
We know that, you know.
Exactly. So Freddie G, I thought he was going to chime in on this. Do you think, because most of these items are really old, especially the cheese grater, because I don't think they make cheese graters like this. I'm surprised you didn't say at the time maybe they didn't know, because at one point we used to use asbestos a lot.
Right. They still use a lot of asbestos.
They still use it?
Home building, yes.
I thought they stopped.
Yeah,
No.
you remember when we was in middle school, man, and they
had that big lawsuit.
They had the big lawsuit.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Asbestos.
Yeah,
They have it.
I can remember in class, man, they was talking about it, and Ryan had a lot of asbestos.
They have a lawsuit now for
never knew
asbestos.
that.
It's never not been a
I
lawsuit
don't know if
against
it's
asbestos.
or asbestos.
Asbestos.
Which one is it?
I thought it was
Asbestos. I know it ends at TOS.
I thought it was asbestos.
TOS, asbestos.
Yeah.
I want to say.
Well, tomato.
Tomato, right? Exactly. Yeah, that's funny. And before we get out of here, fun fact: I'm surprised that everybody from the Wizard of Oz didn't sue. They probably all did, because I think Wizard of Oz was 1939. But the snow from the Wizard of Oz, asbestos.
Wow.
Fun fact.
That's what that was.
That's it.
Asbestos.
Asbestos. So
Mesothelioma.
Okay, well, with that, we out of here. Y'all be safe out there around the things, and know what you're around, because you just never know. Peace. This concludes our show for today, and if you haven't done so already, follow us on Twitter at Get2Scott Podcast, also IG and Facebook at the Get2Scott Podcast. Also, like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for Black Friday. See you all soon.